Okay, let's address this right now. The grille is perfectly fine. It is a very bold statement and I commend BMW for taking the risk. So let's just move on from this and find out how good the rest of this M4 competition is. Let's go for a drive. One of the first things that you're going to notice as soon as you start driving the M4 is not the engine, although it is a great engine and we'll get to that in a bit. It's also not how big the car is because it is a physically big car. No, one of the first things that you'll notice is just how quick the steering is. I mean, if you move it a little bit, just like that, the front wheels immediately react. The last time that I've experienced steering that's as fast as this was in the Lotus Elise. And unfortunately, I don't have a video to link up here for you because I drove this Lotus Elise before I started doing YouTube videos. However, this new M4 steering is just insanely fast. If anything, it's a bit too fast for city streets. From the moment that I stepped into this car, I had to rethink as to how much steering lock to input into the steering wheel every time that I wanted to take a turn at an intersection, for example. However, on a twisting and winding road or on a racetrack, this fast steering makes the car feel extremely agile. Also helping this 1.8-ton BMW M4 feel quick and agile around corners is the xDrive four-wheel drive system. It is a rear bias system, but BMW claims that 100% of the engine's power can be sent to the front wheels, though I suspect this can only be done when it's in snowy or icy conditions. Most of the time, it's going to be a rear biased all-wheel drive system, or four-wheel drive system, I should say. However, if you want, you can make this into a rear-wheel drive system. Now, I should say that the M4 also comes as a rear-wheel drive only option, but with this four-wheel drive system, you can make it into a rear drive only vehicle. If you do that, then you also get access to use BMW's brilliant new traction control system. With this system on, it will not allow for any sort of wheel slip. With the system turned off, then most likely you'll end up facing the same direction that you just came from, unless you're a professional racing driver, that is. However, if you set the traction control somewhere in the middle, then this M4 will make even the most butterfinger of drivers look like heroes. It will let you drift or power slide the car and still keep you in complete control. You're not going to spin out, and like I said, it will flatter you and it'll make it look like as though you know what you're doing. Now for this engine. It is a 3-liter twin turbocharged inline 6 and it produces 503 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. With the xDrive system, it will allow the M4 Competition to accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.5 seconds, according to BMW. Although some publications have said that they can get it in sub 3 seconds. This was Car and Driver, but then again, they do omit a 3-foot rollout. No matter how you look at it, this is a very quick car and the engine is fantastic. The peak torque figure is reached at just 2750 RPMs and is sustained all the way up to 5500 RPMs. Peak power is just over 6000. When the engine is in that torque sweet spot, there's hardly a hint of turbo lag. Anything below that 2750 mark and there's a pretty big boost threshold. But when you're on a racetrack or doing some more enthusiastic driving, this engine is really responsive. And it also makes some pretty good noises too, especially if it's in the Sport Plus mode with the exhaust valves open. Now with 500 horsepower, you expect fuel economy to be really bad. And it kind of is, but only in certain environments. So in the city, this M4 Competition with xDrive is rated for 14.6 liters per 100 kilometers. However, on highways, it is rated for just 10.5 liters per 100 kilometers. And I can tell you that those fuel economy numbers are actually achievable. During my time with the car, I've been driving about 50% highway, 50% city driving, and a little bit of hooning around. And yet I am still averaging just 11.8 liters per 100 kilometers. I don't know about you, but that's actually really good for something with 500 horsepower. Gone is the dual clutch transmission, and replacing it is a traditional 8-speed automatic made by ZF. This means that on highways and in a city, the shifts are very smooth. When overtaking another vehicle, the transmission reacts quickly. However, it's lacking a bit of the crispness of the dual clutch. There's no doubt that this transmission is much better for daily commutes, and it does feel responsive enough on a racetrack or spirited drives. But the dual clutch of the old car gave you a sense of better connection with it. Happily, however, if you want to row your own gears, the standard M4 is available with a manual transmission. #save the manuals. And finally, the brakes on this M4 Competition are mahoosive. They measure 380 millimeters, that's 15 inches in the front, with fixed 6-piston calipers, and 370 millimeters, that's 14.5 inches, in the rear with a single large floating piston caliper. In the iDrive infotainment, you can switch between comfort and sport braking performance. For spirited drives, these brakes slow the car down as though you've hit a tree. On city streets, they don't feel grabby when moving except for the last 5 to 10 kilometers an hour before coming to a complete stop. It's hard to be smooth and not feel as though you've been tapped in the back by another vehicle. If you need even more braking performance for frequent track days, carbon ceramic brake discs are available, but those will probably cost more than your divorce settlement. Inside the M4 Competition, it feels very familiar, and that's because it all looks really similar to other BMW vehicles, the gasoline ones that is, not the electric ones. The iX and the i4 look pretty different, especially the iX. In this M4, you still get a full digital driver display as well as a separate touchscreen for the infotainment system. It's not a single piece like how it is in the i4, although I do suspect that in a future update for the M4, it probably will become like the i4. Speaking of which, because it isn't a newer design, you still get physical climate controls, which is a really good thing. On the center console, it again looks very similar to other gasoline-powered BMWs. Same push-button start, same gear selector, same iDrive controller. Cup holders and wireless phone charging are also in the same place, and the steering wheel feels identical to other BMW vehicles. It is a bit on the girthy side, but I do have big hands, so it fits really nicely in my hands. One of the best features about this steering wheel are the M1 and M2 buttons. You can change different vehicle parameters and set them to either the M1 or the M2 buttons. For example, I set the M1 with the Sport Plus engine, Sport chassis, and comfort steering and brakes, while M2 was the full bananas, with every parameter set to its hardcore setting, and the M4 would be in two-wheel drive mode with level 5 for the traction control. As for space in the front seats, I am 6'4" and I cannot complain for legroom. I got more than enough, and I can even move the seat further back if I want more. Same goes with headroom, more than plentiful, but keep in mind that this seat is in its lowest position. That's just how I like to drive. Behind the seats, there's an okay amount of space for average size adults. Legroom is decent, but you'll find that the headroom is tight. The Mercedes-Benz E53 AMG Coupe that I test drove a while back is a bit more spacious in those rear seats. Further behind the seats, the trunk allows for 440 liters of space, and the backrest can be folded 40-20-40 for a bit more space. The 2022 BMW M4 Competition with xDrive starts at $94,300 Canadian. This demo vehicle came equipped to the price of $105,245 Canadian. Now that is a lot of money, I admit, but the M4 Competition does come very well equipped. It has satellite navigation, which you don't need a subscription for. It also has heated seats, which again you don't need a subscription for, at least not yet. Shh. There's also a heated steering wheel, ventilated front seats. You can get a sunroof if you want. The trunk is power operated. There's surround view cameras, adaptive cruise control, parking sensors, real leather upholstery. The list just goes on and on. Thing is though, a $35,000 Hyundai also can be equipped with the same features. What you're really paying for is all the performance that you're getting with this M4. And I think it's worth every single penny. As well, for the six-figure price tag, the M4 comes equipped with nearly every driver and safety aid in the BMW catalog as standard. The only exceptions are Traffic Jam Assist and Driving Assistant Professional, which help keep the car centered in the lane. These are part of a $2,000 package. And finally, the BMW M4 Competition is covered by a 4-year, 80,000 kilometer new vehicle warranty here in Canada. In America, it is 4 years or 50,000 miles, whichever comes first. So what else can I say about the M4 Competition? It still is that perfect German sports car, the one that can take you to and from work in comfort and still set a blisteringly fast time around a racetrack. I know BMW's slogan, Ultimate Driving Machine, has been ridiculed, especially for some of their models, but for this one, it makes perfect sense. This is the ultimate driving machine. And if you want to know more about this 2022 BMW M4 Competition, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up here. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck, or most likely it'll probably be an SUV next time. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.